There's a moment every man faces after a breakup that feels like a storm brewing just under the skin. It's not loud like thunder, but it's just as powerful. It starts as a quiet ache in your chest, a low hum of panic in the back of your mind. And then it begins. The thoughts, the temptations, the overwhelming desire to do something. Your instincts kick in. You start rationalizing. Maybe if I just send one message, maybe if I explain how I feel, maybe if I remind her of what we had, she'll come back. But here's what no one tells you. That urge to chase, to reach out, to clarify your worth, it's a trap. A beautifully disguised emotional trap that pulls you away from your strength and drags you back into weakness. And the truth is brutal. The more you chase someone who walked away, the smaller you become in their eyes. Every word you send is a piece of your dignity handed over on a silver platter. What you don't realize, what no one teaches men growing up, is that your silence holds more power than any apology, explanation, or long paragraph ever could. Let me tell you what happens when you disappear. I don't mean texting less. I don't mean playing it cool or pretending to be busy. I mean truly vanishing. No texts, no calls, no checking her page, no reacting to her stories. You remove yourself not just from her life, but from her digital world, her attention span, her control. At first, she might feel a rush of relief. She might even smile, thinking you're doing exactly what she hoped, finally moving on. Maybe she thinks she won the breakup. But time has a strange way of revealing the truth. Because after that initial dopamine hit of freedom fades, something shifts. That silence you left behind, it doesn't fade, it grows. It creeps into her quiet moments, late at night, on slow afternoons, when she sees something that reminds her of you. And that's when the real impact begins. You see, when a man who once cared deeply goes silent, it creates a psychological tension most people are not equipped to handle. Women are emotional creatures, yes, but they are also incredibly intuitive. They notice patterns, they feel the shifts. They're used to being chased, validated, responded to. And when none of that happens, when they're met with nothing but silence, curiosity creeps in, and that curiosity is powerful. At first, it starts with wondering. Why hasn't he reached out? Is he mad? Is he hurt? Or worse, has he already moved on? That thought alone can spark an emotional wildfire. Suddenly, the control she thought she had starts to slip. Suddenly, you're not the heartbroken ex. You're the man who vanished, who didn't need closure, who didn't beg for another chance. And that's where the game changes. Because she might post those thirst traps. She might upload that new chapter quote, or that selfie with the fake smile at a bar. But none of that's real. It's bait. It's a test to see if you're still hers emotionally, if you'll flinch, if you'll react, if the strings she once pulled still work. Most men fail this test. They reply, they bite, they send the "hope you're okay" message, and in doing so, they lose all the power they built through their absence. But not you, not this time. Because now you understand that silence is not passive, it's a deliberate, strategic move. It's emotional discipline, it's masculine restraint, it's the quiet confidence that says, I don't chase, I attract, I don't beg, I build. And in that silence, something else happens, something most men overlook. You start to evolve. You hit the gym, not for revenge, but for renewal. You read, you reflect, you reconnect with your purpose. You become sharper, stronger, more emotionally composed. You stop stalking her feed and start auditing your life. You begin asking the real questions. Why did I tolerate that? Where did I lose myself? Who was I becoming with her that I'm not proud of today? You stop seeking closure and start creating transformation. And that transformation doesn't go unnoticed. People around you feel it. Your energy shifts. Your presence becomes heavier. Women who never looked your way before start noticing something different about you. A sense of groundedness, a calm intensity, a quiet strength. And your ex, she feels it too, even if she never says a word. That version of you she once knew, he's gone, replaced by someone she doesn't recognize anymore. And that mystery haunts her more than any message ever could. Because when a man stops chasing, he becomes a man worth chasing. Now here's where it gets real. There may come a day where she reaches out. Subtle breadcrumb, a hey stranger text, a reaction to your story, a random song sent your way. And that's the moment of truth. That's the emotional fork in the road. Do you crumble? Do you engage? Do you go back to old patterns just because attention feels good? Or do you remain unmoved, stoic, composed, grounded? Because the man who stays centered when the past comes knocking, he becomes unforgettable. Women don't regret losing the man who begged. They regret losing the man who grew silently, who leveled up in peace, who didn't make a scene, but made a comeback. But here's the thing. Disappearing isn't about punishment. It's not about manipulation. It's about self-respect. It's about recognizing when something is no longer serving your growth and walking away without fanfare. It's the highest form of self-love a man can show, not chasing what hurts, not forcing what's fading, not clinging to what's broken. It's saying, I loved you, yes, but I love me more. And that shift, that's where the true healing begins. You start seeing the breakup not as a loss, but as a redirection, a sacred space to rebuild. You realize she didn't break you, she revealed you, showed you where your boundaries were too loose, where your standards were too low, where your emotional discipline needed work, and you thank her silently for the lesson, not the love. You see, the power of disappearing isn't about making her miss you. That's just a byproduct. The real win is what happens to you when you're no longer emotionally tethered to someone who couldn't see your value. You start showing up differently in your work, in your friendships, in your mirror. Because you've been through the fire and you didn't just survive. You emerged as the man you were always meant to be. So next time your fingers hover over the keyboard, itching to type out a message, stop, breathe, remember who you are. Remember what silence has given you. Remember that disappearing isn't about absence. It's about alignment. And when the silence starts speaking for you, you won't have to explain anything. Your growth will say it all. If this message hit home, it's because deep down, you know your silence is more powerful than any apology you could ever send. Remember, kings don't beg, they build. Don't forget to subscribe if you're on this journey of stoic self-mastery, emotional discipline, and becoming the kind of man no one forgets. Your story isn't over. It's just getting started.